Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy. Well, my carpet is all dried out and for the most part cleaned off. I'll clean it again once it's inside the vehicle, but I need to get this back in, get the interior back together, and then we'll see where we're at. So we'll get all that done, and then I want to turn my attention to what's happening in the engine compartment. We'll see where we are, but first step, let's get this carpet and interior back together. One thing I love using with stuff like this is my Milwaukee light. Provides plenty of light for the interior, although I do hit my head on it, but we're not going to hold that against that. We'll just say that my head's too big. To give you an idea what it looks like without the light, it's like a dark cave, right? Bam. Well, it's been a minute since I've been in here. I hope I remember where all this stuff goes. I do remember that there was this piece of styrofoam under here. Yeah, some of it's coming back to me now. But you know what? I'm noticing there's a lot of debris and stuff underneath what was the carpet. Why not just clean that up and do a really nice job? Let's get this carpet back in here. Only I remembered how this center console section fit in here. Looks more like carpet than it did when I started. It's amazing how much just carpet does for something like this. I mean, almost like the car is whole again. There we are. That's fiddly. The carpet has been reinstalled, but this thing is filthy, like filthy. And in my experience, nothing sells a car more than it being clean. In fact, it being clean, I would argue, is probably the most important thing that people look at. And with good reason, it does show pride of ownership. So I'm going to take a moment to come in here, clean these rear seats since I don't have any obstructions at the moment. Possibly go in and take care of the dash and everything else in here also. So that way when I'm done with the interior, I am done with the interior. I don't have to mess with it anymore. It will be a foregone conclusion. This video isn't a video about how to clean the interior of a vehicle. I'm just going to go ahead and do that just because I have the opportunity now with everything out of here. And then we'll come back and I'll show you the result. Well, here is the finished result of my efforts. Cleaning that I did. A little bit of conditioner on the leather. Went through, cleaned all the door sills and all the stuff in the center console, which took forever. There was, I don't know what kind of goo was on there. And the seats. And I'll clean these other parts before I install them. But for the most part, I am ready to go. Let's reinstall this trim piece. There's also, can you see this up in here? Yeah. There's a little clip for the carpet, holds it in place. I've already cleaned this up. There's a little slot up in here that's got to go back down in here. Over here, I'm going to reinstall the accelerator pedal, electrical connection up in here. of course needs to be restored. And then the top clips onto this, and the bottom there's a screw that goes down into here. Little plug that goes down over the top of this. I also cleaned the pedals, they were kind of dirty, and the dead pedal. I don't want to forget our airbag unit here. There's very important ground here. Don't forget about it. That should go to the outside of the ABS unit. SRS. Why do I keep saying ABS? It smells nice in here. It's all the cleaners. As long as we're here, I'm gonna reestablish this electrical connection for the parking brake. You just push this down and insert the wire. All better. For now, SRS unit is installed. Electrical connections are restored. Moving on. Let's get some of the center console stuff dealt with. If I'm to guess, it goes on just like that. And then there's this inner piece, which I didn't bother to do any cleaning with, because it'll never be seen. I'm pretty certain this guy goes in like this. When you're putting things back together, just be mindful of wires and stuff that probably shouldn't be harmed. You saw how this came apart, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail here. There's 410s that hold this in, although I am just going to start these. I'm half thinking the ones in the back go with the armrest assembly. I want to make sure of that real quick. I want to go grab that. Okay, so these don't attach directly, okay. So these fasteners that are already down in here can be run down. Here's a detail. Can't quite get in there. You can see the fasteners. There's two in the back here, and then there's another one in the front. What I'm going to do is these little clips hold the center console in place. I'm going to pop all these out and then place them into the upper cover, which is where they actually go. Ooh, that's not good. See that wire right there, how that was underneath there? I don't like that. There, now it's all free to roam. All right, well, I'm gonna tighten these down so the center console is secured, and then next step is to pop these out. Just gonna come in like this. And I'll move these over into the console. This is where I clipped that parking brake wire into. One thing that's nice about doing something like this is that when you're all done, this usually gets rid of like a lot of rattles and just a general loose feeling in the vehicle. Just take your time, one step at a time. You'll get there eventually. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Before we get too far, there are these two lower dash supports that need to be reinstalled. Who goes where? Like that. Now, if I can only remember what fasteners go where. Yeah, those go there. And then these silver ones go down on the bottom. These lower ones were 10s, and the upper ones were T30s. And then the ones back on the console were also T30s. And then inside of this part of the console were 10 millimeter. Here's that cover. Then there's that last fastener that goes up in there that I believe is also a T30. I think Mini is German for expensive. Yeah, I know it started out as an English car, but this is all BMW now. I like that there are no leftover parts so far. I'm gonna get these pieces installed. Yeah, I'm thinking this has got to go in first, since there's this screw that's got to go in. Been nice if you brought the tool with you, Eric. This is where the clips go inside of here. So they've got like a little area there. Slips right in like that. There are a couple of electrical connections that need to be established. The front's got to go under first on this. And there's two T30s for the front. Go inside the cup holders. There's a detail on the screws and their location. Now the rear cup holder. I've already cleaned these parts up. Apparently you need to hold your tongue just right to make that happen. This one is the T20. I forgot this cover up front that I'll do in a sec. And there's this cover. There should be two of these. I only see one. This one's also held down by T20. So I've got one of these covers for this side, but not for the passenger side. I suppose that got lost. And then there's this guy, which I'm hoping goes in easily. Yeah. Matter of fact, it did. The shifter. Probably gonna need two hands for this part. Looks much better with the top on it. And get these side panels installed. I'll clean these up in a second after I get them installed. There's a spacer, kind of goes in. Into that is our bolt for our seat belt. Definitely want to make sure those threads start. I was almost out of this stuff, which is kind of why I chose it. And this is a T50. Let's clean you first. Make sure you don't get this thing twisted when you install it. Well, let's get some seats in here and we're done. My light might have to move. Do not forget the electrical connection. One thing I have to say about this car, yes, it's very cheap, but I'm kind of in love with the electrical connectors. And these are T30, I believe. T40, I lied. I'm not gonna run it all the way down. Just gotta get it far enough down on the track so I can move the seat. Oh crap. I just broke my bit. That sucks. I gotta see if I can dig up another T40 somewhere. Lucky for me, I had a spare. I got a better idea. Passenger side is done. Now for the driver's side. That's right, you forgot the electrical connection. But also there seems to be something jamming up this track. This light and this seat don't get along. Figure out what's going on with that track. Well, there was nothing in the track. It just didn't like that position. So let's try again. I like it when I'm done working and it looks like a car. If it looks like a helicopter, that's when I start considering other lines of work. With the exception of the floor mats, that interior is back together. I say that looks way better than it did when I got it. A lot nicer now. I washed these. I'm just waiting for them to dry and I'll install them back in the vehicle. Well, the interior of my 2007 Mini Cooper S, also known as an R56, is a much more pleasant place to be now that I've done all this work. If you're curious as to why I took the carpet out in the first place, when I purchased the vehicle, the window was down about that much. I don't know for how long, but the carpet was wet and it was also full of debris, so I removed it in order to dry everything out. There was probably about a 3-week to 1-month period between the time that I removed the carpet and the time that I put it back in. When I put it back in, it was all dry as a bone. But if some of you are wondering why I didn't quite remember where things went, well, as I said at the beginning of the video, it had been a minute since I had it apart. Also, I'm sure somebody's going to say something about the floor mats in the last clip, that there is a little tab on the top of the floor mats that needs to be trimmed off. No worries. I've gone through and I've done that to all of these before I did the installation. I also cleaned them up a little bit more. That said, I plan to do more videos in this mini series. In fact, we're going to the engine compartment next. As those videos become available, I will put links to those in the description along with any additional information about tools, stuff that I may have used during the video, so please check there if you have questions about stuff that you saw in this video. Also, if you don't feel it gave you enough detail, there is the video where I did the removal that I will also link in the description that covers in a lot more detail all of the work that I did in order to get these components out of here. Aside from that, if you have automotive questions, I ask that you head to EricTheCarGuy.com. I'll also be kind enough to link that for you in the description. And thank you for watching. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff that helps me keep doing what I'm doing here. I'll see you next time.